Okay guys, Rich Curry. Here we go with the first module, and this one's entitled, Is This a Good Time to Start a Business? Now listen, I know I get asked this question all the time. Yeah, because of the economy, is this a good time to start a business? Well, I'm going to say yes, okay, and I think most people with an entrepreneurial spirit would probably agree. And I'm going to give you just a little bit of a scenario as to why I believe, and then we'll go through a couple of different steps. The first thing is, for any of you who have tuned into my conference calls, we've kind of discussed this a little bit. And here's what I want to tell you. When this recession is over, and we don't, 6 months, a year and a half, 6 years, who knows? But the point is this. There will be an awful lot of millionaires made in this recession simply because of the fact that people see opportunity. And there's always an opportunity in a down market. It may not be feasible for everybody, because the old saying about it takes money to make money is true, but it's not true on the internet. And that's the cool part about this. So indulge me for a minute just to let me explain what I'm talking about. Right here we have the real estate market. Okay, right now is probably an unprecedented time in history, because the real estate market is down all the way across the country in value, but the key is so aren't lending rates. Okay, so unlike an internet business, if you have some money, because the days of no money down buying is pretty much gone, and that was always difficult to do anyway, but if you have a little bit of money and you want to go out, boy, you can get some tremendous deals out there now. So you go ahead and you do that, and whenever the economy turns around, you start to turn these properties over. A lot of people are doing that. And now, again, you're probably not in a situation to do that, and that's why you're listening to this, and this is why an internet business is a really cool deal. Okay, we'll move on to the next step. Competition. This is a great reason why to start your own business right now. If you have an idea, a niche, and it doesn't make any difference. It could be something that you want to try, something that you like to do, maybe a hobby, something that you're passionate about. Okay? Get out there and start it, because let me tell you something. If your competition in your particular niche, okay, the sky is falling for them, because this is just naturally the way people think. Oh gosh, it's a bad economy, I'm doomed to fail, nobody's buying my product. Remember the glass half full scenario here? Well, this is true. What you really ought to be doing is going out and doing one-up on your competition. Don't sit back and do nothing. This is a great opportunity for you to go out and bury your competition, even if you're a startup, because you know they're not doing anything. And 25 years of my own business experience is going to tell you, trust me, they're not doing anything. The vast majority of them, okay? So even though you may be a startup, all right, you can go after these people, and you can seriously go after these people by having a bigger market presence, startup or not. And some of those things to get yourself noticed we'll do in some of the other videos that we're going to have, and certainly we talk about in the Word of Mouth Forum. So consider that. Don't be afraid. Okay. Now the next one here, this kind of goes along with the first one, advertising. This is one of the biggest mistakes that most people in business, and certainly in brick and mortar stores, make. When the economy has a downturn, the first thing that people do is they cut their advertising budget. Frankly, because it's a direct overhead, and that is to say that it's an expense that you don't think you're getting anything back for, and it looks like a very easy line to chop out in your budget. Big mistake. It's akin to slitting your wrist. It really is. Because if you cut your advertising budget, then you're not getting out in front of as many people as you need to be. And in a downturn in the economy, you need to be in front of as many people as you possibly can. It's pretty obvious, okay? But a lot of people cut that. That's a big mistake. So what do you want to do? You want to do just the opposite. Cut somewhere else, increase your advertising budget, okay? Absolutely, positively. Go out and get a bigger share of the market. That's what you want to do. And that ties right into you starting an internet business. Aside of the other foundations and fundamentals we'll talk about SEO and getting your business up and running and noticed and all that type of stuff. you want to look at doing some advertising. And there's various different ways of doing that, okay? And we can get into that also later on and in the word of mouth forum, etc. And my free coaching calls, by the way, you guys can call up. Cost. Here's the big one. The big one, the big one, the big one, okay? Cost. If you were to go out today and start a new venture that was a brick and mortar store, your cost and your risk is enormous. You've got leases, you've got electricity, you've got insurance. If it happens to be a restaurant, you have your inventory tied up in things that can spoil it. Man, you open yourself up for a huge hit if it fails, okay? The internet, that's why the internet is a great deal, because you really don't need any money to speak of. Now, I get lots of people that contact me on Twitter and by email and so forth say, well, I don't have any money. Can I still be successful on the internet? I'm not, let me ask you this. If you don't have any money, period, anywhere, are you going to be successful at anything? And I don't think so. Okay? So, yeah, you got to be serious and you got to have a little bit of money. But I mean a little bit of money. Because you can get hosting for $6 or $7 a month, and typically about $9, $10 a year for your domain name. Okay? So, if you can't afford that, then, you know, your internet marketing in any way, shape, or form is not for you. And in fact, probably success will never come your way. That's the cold, hard facts about it. Because you got to put a little bit of something in to get a little bit of something out. Okay? So, for cheap money, you can host, you can get a domain name. And then the next thing we're going to talk about in Module 5 is search engine optimization. So once you learn how to do all of this and learn, quote, fail fast, and what that means in internet marketing terms is, not always are your ideas going to be successful, and a lot of times your first or second or even third idea may not be, okay? That's just a learning curve. But it's cost you nothing. It's cost you a minimal amount of money, basically, to go out and try your idea, and then just scrap that one and find another one. But what I'm going to teach you in these remaining modules is basically what is a good niche, not necessarily in the sense of what product is good for you, but what we talk about as such is a niche. And then I'm going to teach you basically the things that you need to know to get that up and rolling. And if it turns out your first idea is you know, not as lucrative as you want, that's okay. Scrap it and go on to another one. Again, $9 for a domain name. You can monetize your site that maybe wasn't a big money maker for you in a different way. You can turn it into an AdSense site and make some money every month on that. So there's a lot of things that you can do. But I'm going to wrap up this module right now. So I hope you get the point that I'm trying to drive home here, is that this really is a good time to be able to get on the internet. Because also we're back to competition. Competition overall here is that people aren't going to be thinking the way that they're thinking. So there are going to be less startups out there and so forth. So this really is an excellent time. So think about maybe what it is that you want to do. Bat around a couple of ideas. And we'll address that in the niche section of how you drill down, so to speak, to find yourself a niche with some traffic. Okay, that wraps it up for Module 1. This is Rich Curry.